From BAFTA's Most Promising Newcomer to BAFTA's Best Actress, Claire Bloom has had a remarkable career in both film and TV. Did you know that she was one of the escapees who fled to the U.S. during World War II? Let's take a look at some facts about Britain's finest actress in this video. Her family escaped to the U.S. during World War II. When the Germans bombed London in 1940, Bloom and her family were caught in the middle of it, and bombs dropped close to their home. She was sent to the U.S. along with her brother John, where she lived with her uncle for a year. In an interview, she spoke about her experience, saying, "It was 1941. I was 10, John was nearly 6. We were to sail from Glasgow in a convoy on a ship that was evacuating children. When she was in Florida, she was asked by the British War Relief Society to raise some money by singing, and that's how she began singing." Bloom and her family returned to England after 2 years. She made her stage debut when she was just 15. Bloom studied stage acting at the Guildhall School of Music and Drama and started appearing on BBC radio programs. She made her stage debut at the Oxford Repertory Theatre in 1946 at the tender age of 15. About a year later, she performed as Ophelia at the Shakespeare Memorial Theatre alongside one of the greatest Shakespearean performers, Paul Scofield. Bloom later remarked that she developed a crush on Scofield, but because he was married with a son at the time, all Bloom could do was hope to be flirted with and taken some notice of. When Scofield was asked about his thoughts on Bloom after many years, he said, 16 years old, I think, so very young and necessarily inexperienced. She looked lovely. She acted with a daunting assurance which belied entirely her inexperience of almost timid reticence. She was a very good Ophelia. She became an international star with the help of Charlie Chaplin. Though her career had already been successful in the UK, it wasn't until Charlie Chaplin, the famous comedian, discovered her for a role when she finally got the chance to become an international star. The movie, named Limelight, was released in 1953, and it featured Claire Bloom as a ballerina on the brink of suicide due to hysterical paralysis, only to be rescued by the lead character played by Chaplin himself. It's believed that Chaplin chose her because of the wide range of emotions that Bloom had displayed in so many of her previous performances. The film finally turned her into an international star. Claire Bloom felt that one of the reasons she got the role was because she looked like Chaplin's wife. In fact, Chaplin himself stated in his autobiography that he didn't care much about the film becoming successful. Chaplin was emotionally attached to Limelight as it had references to his personal life. In an interview, Chaplin explained that he wanted the impossible: beauty, talent, and a great emotional range in the female actress. He decided to go with Bloom after she was recommended to him by one of his friends and because he found all those qualities in her. She has written 2 memoirs about her career and her personal life. The first memoir she wrote is titled Limelight and After the Education of an Actress. Published in 1982, it's mostly based on her career and the roles that she portrayed over the years. Her second memoir, called Leaving a Doll's House, a Memoir, was published in 1996 and talks about her personal life, her relationships with Richard Burton and other actors. She said that it was easy for her to write the memoirs because by the time she began writing them, she had stopped caring about the people mentioned in them and most of them had died. Her ex-husband wrote a revenge novel against her. She married Philip Roth for a short span of time during which she had to take some difficult decisions. She expressed her feelings in her memoir, Leaving a Doll's House, in which she explicitly wrote and stated some of the reasons due to which she felt Roth was too controlling. She mentioned in her book that Roth didn't want to live in the same house as her daughter Anna. To get back at her, Roth wrote a novel of his own called I Married a Communist. In the book, he created a character, Eve Frame, who represented Bloom. Frame was the anti-Semitic wife who tries to ruin the protagonist of the book. The character of Frame, however, tries to become a better person after destroying the protagonist's career because she was manipulated by the enemy, so it's unclear what exactly Roth was trying to say with his book. One journalist described the book not as a novel, but as an angry, bitter, resentful mess by a man who might have taken another course. She was jealous of Elizabeth Taylor. Bloom fell in love with Richard Burton while performing in a play in 1947, and they began an affair that lasted for a very long time. She stated in her memoir that the relationship with Richard Burton, who was married to Sybil during that time, didn't fare well as he was married. One actor noticed that Burton was attracted to Bloom and said, "I thought that this might be the time when Rich actually left Sybil. He was caught cheating, and this is one of the reasons why Bloom said that her love for him was lost and she was able to move on." Burton later married Elizabeth Taylor, and when Burton told Bloom how waking up to Taylor every day was like having Christmas every morning, Bloom said that it was a sentiment that raised in me urges akin to murder. To everyone's surprise, many years after the death of Burton, she stated that it was the best relationship she had ever been in and said that his presence had been hypnotic to her. She mentioned that the reason why she was so much in love with Burton was because he had intelligence, physical beauty, and an incredible voice. She believed that Burton proved that a working-class actor could be successful, and she was proud of him for that. She said, "I thought he set a great example in a society that was and still is so preoccupied with class and accent." She considers her daughter Anna to be her best friend. Bloom had her daughter, Anna Steiger, on February 13, 1960 with her first husband, Rod Steiger. Her relationship with her daughter was a bit complicated in the beginning. She tried to throw her and Rod out of the house so she could salvage her marriage with Philip Roth. It would take her 10 years to accept everything that had happened with Roth. She said that Roth had given her an ultimatum, but she later regretted writing about the incident in her book. She said, "I shouldn't have written that. I was ill-advised. There are some things it's better to keep private." She sorted things out with her daughter, and she now thinks of her as her best friend. Speaking about her daughter in an interview, she said, "Anna and I have, however, come through that. She's now distinguished herself in the world of opera, and I regard her as my best friend." Did you find any of these facts interesting? Well, let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button.